All right, team, we are gonna go over the box-assisted pull-up. Now, for those who are at Push or have heard us talk about this in the past, we do not like to use bands on assisted pull-ups. There's a lot of reasons behind that we've talked about in other videos and posts, but essentially it not only kind of sets our angle slightly off course of how you actually wanna pull, but whenever we add more bands, it always makes the bottom initial pull feel better. But the issue we all have is finally getting that chin over the bar. So the temptation is you just load up more bands, more bands, more bands. That just starts to rock you farther and farther back away from the bar, gets you out of position to pull north and south. And it only makes, again, the bottom part feel easier, doesn't always help with the top. Also, when we just go up and down really fast, it helps develop the belly of the muscle, but as we're bouncing in and out of the band, it does not allow the joints to kind of catch up. And a lot of the injuries that we see are on the down of coming off a pull-up bar, regardless of what the movement is. So we are big advocates of the box-assisted pull-up. For some, it is kind of weird. Most new things are, but trust me, you'll get used to it. It does feel better. So how we want to set this up is we need to make sure that even if you're fully extended with your legs on the box, your chin can make sure it's nice and clear and over, not just higher than, but over the pull-up bar. So it may take a second to figure out, should you be on the 20, 24 inch or 30 inch, based also on your pull-up bar setup based on your gym. So this position, we have a 30-inch box on our shortest pull-up bar. Sarah's standing up, her chin can be over, so that is a good indication that this is the setup for her. Now, the weirdest kind of a setup that most people are kind of uncomfortable with is when we start in the bottom position. Now, keep in mind, whenever we want to adjust or scale something, we want to make sure we're still moving through the range of motion in which we would have the athlete progress towards. So we're in a nice full extension of that elbow and shoulder in the hollow position. Now, the top of the shoes are actually on the box, and this is the weirdest part for people because usually we don't press on the top of our feet, we always press in the bottom. But this is very important to make sure that we do not rely too much on the legs. So the knees are completely down, the hips are extended. A way you can tell if this is correct is if we have Sarah bring 1 foot off the box, this is a normal hollow position in which she would hang by. So that's a good indication, all right? One thing you want to avoid if she puts her foot back on is sitting back too much and piking at the hip. And that's also why we want to stay off the balls of the feet, which is normally where we'd stand, because now you're more in a squat position and you're gonna be more likely to be tempted just to stand up off your feet. So that's why we want knees facing down towards the ground, hips extended, top of the shoes here. Now you can use as much legs as you feel like you need, but we want to initiate the action like that scap pull-up into a traditional pull-up position. So we're driving down and you'll notice that we're reaching the top part of a pull-up in which we would normally want to see the athlete, and always control the down. Sometimes you may see tempo on this, sometimes it's just normal descent, but do not just drop aggressively, especially because we have the top of the shoes on the box. Now, if you get to a point based on the rep range, maybe you're progressing faster than we planned, which is awesome. How do you make this harder? All right, so if Sarah sets back up, top of the shoes on the edge of the box, knees down. A second ago, I had her put one leg straight down. We're gonna have her do that. Pick a leg, any leg. You can alternate back and forth, making sure that the hips are extended. This introduces more of your body weight that you're pulling, gives you less assistance of the leg on the box. Now, if we're gonna do a few pull-ups, let's try 3. There we go. We always like to kind of pause for just a quick second to make sure the chin's over the bar, back down, really squeezing and activating the back and the shoulder blades. Do not initially pull with the elbow, all right? So if you can't quite see at the angle, the edge of the box is right underneath to slightly behind. This allows for the athlete to drop the knees down or extend the legs like we saw Sarah do, and you're not kind of invaded by any box or bench, and you're in a nice bottom extension hollow position that we always want to see you in. So that is the box assisted pull-up. Again, it takes a second to get used to. Trust me, this will develop not only the muscles, but the joints safely and a little more evenly together. Good luck.